is revenge. Ekdikasis. Ekdikasis. What does that word mean? It means to restore. Retribution. Restore. Restoration.
Go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm loud and if I've got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it can get dangerous. These people out.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joe Horton out the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, riding with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands. Because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome to the Just Sports Show. Through the window, as always, is our producer, Miss Honeybee. My name is Les Martin.
And I'm Brent Allen.
We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on this cold night here in Campbell County and every place else that may be listening. We will have Skylar Boshier. She's a junior guard that plays for Campbell County Lady Cougars on at 8:05. She'll be calling, and hopefully within the next week or so, we'll have her in studio for the first half hour. Try to get some of these basketball players in here and get them on the air and get them some airtime. I think that's always good. Me personally, at 8:15, we'll have the sports editor of La Follette Press, Robbie O'Daniel, joining us. And then at 8:35, we'll have the producer of the John and Jimmy Show and Sports Talk Radio on WNML joining us at 8:35. So,
busy show.
Yeah, very busy. So we've got a lot of stuff we've got to talk about. Of course, the girls beat Lady Carnes last night by a score of 65 to 10. And I think
could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah, it could have very well been a lot worse because the varsity only played about a quarter and a half.
Wow.
The rest of the time it was the second string.
That's great, though. It's great for the younger players to get that kind of real competition and
absolutely
good game competition. That's good.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Now, it's not going to be as easy when they face Oak Ridge, because Oak Ridge is a much better team, and of course they've got a good coach over there as well.
Absolutely.
Also, the boys, and there's something missing, folks. There's something missing on the boys' Campbell County Cougar basketball squad, and I can't quite put my finger on it. They lost last night by a score of 77 to 53. They were in the game in the first quarter, 14-9. They had a lot of mistakes in the first quarter, which I thought they could have minimized the mistakes. They could have been leading at the end of the first quarter, no doubt in my mind that could have happened. But then it seems like that Carnes just strung it out just that much further, and of course they got beat by 24 points, and it was much closer. I felt like what time I was there, I left early, but I felt like that they could have been a lot closer, and there's just something, I don't know if it's camaraderie, I don't know what it is, I just can't quite put my finger on it. And of course,
what kind of mistakes? I mean, was it turnovers or what? Just a combination of everything, or fouls?
Some bad passes, throwing out of bounds, turnovers, 10-second call. I mean,
so nothing specific.
No, just nothing specific, but just numerous players making mistakes. Mistakes that you wouldn't think they would make at this level.
Right.
And at this, they've
obviously been playing for quite a while, to get good enough to make the team, a high school team, so they should be able to do these things, or should know.
And of course, Carnes had full court pressure on the whole time, and I'm certainly not taking anything away from our Campbell County Cougar boy basketball team, don't get me wrong. But this Campbell County boys basketball team is better than what they portrayed last night against Carnes. That's all I'm saying. So, with that being said, we're going to wait on Miss Skylar Boshier. She's a junior guard. She's already through. She's already passed the 1,000 point mark in her career.
Wow.
And could very well get to 2,000 points. And I don't know who all holds the records up there or whatever the case may be, but she had quite a few points last night. And then when they took her out, well, you know, of course, you kind of hate to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way as football is taking out a running back when you're trying to get yardage, but you don't want to take a chance of getting hurt. Same way in basketball, you twist an ankle or, you know, fall and break your arm or whatever.
Yep, I agree, 100%. But hopefully, everything will turn out okay. And here she is now. We're going to get her on the air. Hello, Miss Skylar.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to call us. We're going to try to get you in the studio here in the next week or so, if that's okay with you.
Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Let me ask you a question. Last night, 65-10 wasn't any competition at all. Of course, it looked like Carnes was in a rebuilding year, actually, but you're well over the 1,000 point mark, and congratulations. You're only a junior. It's very well possibly could be a 1,500 point career at Campbell County. Is that something that you're focusing on, or are you just focusing on team basketball?
Pretty much, I'm just focused on team basketball right now. I don't really care about the points or for me. All I care about is winning at the end of the night. So that's really much all I'm looking for right now.
I know that you've been playing basketball since you were just a young child. I used to watch you play in the rec league, or what I call the rec league, when you was playing at Jacksboro, and then you'd have to leave Jacksboro Elementary and go up to the rec center and play a game up there. Is basketball something that you always, enjoyed and wanted to excel at?
Oh yeah, basketball's like pretty much my life. I put most of my time in basketball, so pretty much my whole life revolves around basketball. So yeah.
How about your mom and dad? They were quite the athletes when they were in high school. How do you do? Do you find yourself getting a lot of pointers from either one of them, or they just kind of pat you on the back and say, "Do your thing"?
They do a little bit of both. My mom and dad, they're very much supportive. They take me to my ball tournaments during the summer, and they always congratulate me after every ball game, no matter win or lose. So they're very supportive in me and help me do my best.
I know that the Lady Cougars got off to a pretty slow start, slower than normal. You lost a couple of games, 2 or 3 games there pretty early, but it seems like that y'all's right the ship now and has got the boat pointed in the correct direction. What is some of the adjustments that you all made in that 3-game losing streak and try to turn this thing around? Is there anything that jumps out at you that you all changed, or is it pretty much you just kept playing basketball the way that you all know how to play basketball?
We couldn't let the losses bring us down as a team. We had to come together as a team. We can't let that bring us down. So we just picked it up and worked harder in practice to show how bad we wanted to win. And we both hoped that this ain't gonna happen. So we just pushed ourselves more and more to make us start winning. And that's what we've done since then.
I know that Oak Ridge Lady Wildcats has been a thorn in y'all's side for the last couple of years. Y'all have been close on a couple of occasions, more than one occasion, to be honest with you. I know that's the team that you're going to be competing with again this year. How bad do you want to beat this team?
I want them so bad this year. I think this year is definitely our year to get on. The past 2 years, I haven't beat them yet, so I'm really looking forward to this game. And honestly, I think we'll get them this year.
As far as the coaching staff, Coach Honeycutt and Coach Vincent and everybody that's involved, what were they saying during that losing streak? I mean, was they panicking or was they just going about everyday activities like it was no big deal?
So they were like pushing us to become closer together, with stuff like that. I mean, Coach knows that's not how we play, and he just tried every which way to bring us together as a team, just push us harder in practice, stuff like that, like bonding during practice. So as we started doing that, we focused more on the wins, and that's what we led to.
I know that you ran off, I don't know, 6 or 8 wins in a row or something like that. I don't have the number right off the top of my head. I'm sure you know it, but of course, last night was your last home game until January the 19th. And how tough? I know you all play in one of the toughest districts in East Tennessee, but how tough is it going to be between now and January the 19th to be playing away from John R.W. Brown Gymnasium and come away with some victories?
We're not going to let that get to us. We're just trying to keep up. We're just trying to keep pushing in practice. Just keep up the good work like we have been at home and the away games like we have been. So hopefully we'll get 3 good wins in the Christmas tournament we're playing in at Maryville. Our first game is against Fulton. So hopefully we'll get a big win over Fulton.
Wow, it sounds like that y'all certainly have a busy schedule coming up around the Christmas tournament. And after Christmas tournament, of course, you're going to be playing in the district, playing some games in the district. Like I guess Clarence is in the district, and you've already started the district play. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to get you in here in the next week or so in the studio. We'll try to get another young lady with you to come in as well, so we can, because we'll have you on for about a half hour for the first half hour of the show. But
Okay.
I want to say thank you for calling in and congratulations again on the 1,000-point club at Campbell County High School. And I know you're only a junior. You still got a lot of basketball left. You got the majority of this season and all of next season. And when you come into the studio, we'll talk about colleges. How about that?
That sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I was just about to start asking questions about our future plans, so I think that's a good idea to wait.
Hey, Alice. Hey, hello, Porto.
Well, hello there.
How are you?
I didn't know you were on the line.
Yeah.
We wasn't here last Wednesday, and I apologize for that.
It's okay.
I was
It was.
I was out of town in Somerset, Kentucky, and by the time I got home, and I was just tired. I was just wore out and just couldn't make it last Wednesday night. But we don't foresee anything like that happening. Of course, the Wednesday before that, my buddy over here was sick, so I had to fly solo.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it went okay. We had a pretty good time. We had some callers call in and things like that. And we talked about some other stuff, and we had other people call in from different sports guys and gals. So it went all right. Are you looking forward to Christmas?
Yeah, I got my house bigger Christmas, like Christmas everywhere. I got Christmas go all over the place.
I bet you're like a big kid, ain't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I feel like I get into it because I like Christmas. I love Christmas.
What are you wanting Santa Claus to bring you for Christmas?
I want me a new dishwasher and a new cabinet and the wall painted and the whole building and the new patio.
Good grief. You ain't want much, are you? That's a lot. It's expensive stuff, too.
But I want my husband, really. I want my husband home for Christmas.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. Is he going to be able to be home for Christmas?
I hope so.
Well,
So that's this first weekend. Then I come home this first weekend, but I want him to come home.
yeah, I want that for you, too. How often does he, or how long does he stay out?
He stayed almost a week. But he's home on weekends with me, but this Thursday he has to stay out for 2 weeks.
Oh, I got you.
Are you staying warm?
Yeah,
Well, that's
try to.
Try to.
Yeah, it was 9 degrees in my truck this morning when I cranked it up. 9 degrees.
Oh boy, it's cold.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm afraid my leg goes down when the snow is coming to
Well, you know,
my leg.
they're saying that we could have snow a day before Christmas Eve, is what WBLT David Aldridge is saying. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but that would be nice.
if it doesn't happen, I'm going to punch him in the mouth.
Me too.
Yep.
Take my hopes up there.
I know.
That
I
was
said I haven't done it because my leg goes, if my leg goes up, I don't have no heat.
well, that's not
Oh,
good.
that is not good. That was,
Because I ain't got nothing to take that for it. I ain't got nothing to eat with.
oh, really?
Do you have plenty of blankets just in case?
Yeah, you got plenty of blankets?
Yeah, I got plenty of blankets in the closet.
Yeah. I would say get an electric blanket, but that wouldn't help either.
You know, me too. Are you ready for Christmas?
I haven't bought the first gift, if you want me to be honest about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I haven't.
Let's get started.
I'll get started probably next week.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always one of those late bloomers, you know. I start on the 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I got visitors over there at Big House and at the Quarter Market.
Yeah?
I got him sitting over there in that way. I got him some on skillets.
Does he
On
cook?
the,
Does he cook?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he's good.
So you got him some iron skillets, huh?
Yeah, because he likes all stuff, everything.
Well, good.
That's good, yeah.
That's real good. I love iron
Yeah,
skillets.
you got a Dutch oven on Dutch oven and a whole bunch of
Dutch
stuff.
oven?
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Mhm.
Well, we're waiting on the sports editor, Robbie O'Daniel, to call in. So he should be calling in any minute. So we certainly appreciate you calling in, Miss Kay.
Hey, can you do us a favor there? Can you pray for us?
Yes.
Just for me, because I'm nervous tonight. You worry.
You worried?
Yep.
What are you worried for?
I'm worried about my leg is overnight.
Oh, okay. Will do. All right. I got him calling in. So who's your favorite team?
Go Cougars.
I'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Come on, Robbie, don't hang up. Robbie O'Daniel, the sports editor of the La Follette Press. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, guys?
Good, man.
tables.
Yeah, we're doing fantastic, buddy. I see you're covering the county tournament, huh?
Yeah, it's a wild one. Started day one, had a game that was shocking.
Oh, I'm sure. Which team was winning by a certain amount? Was it La Follette and then Jasper come back and beat them? Was that the
The other way, Jacksboro was winning. Okay, so the county tournament, I mean, you're down by 12 points in the fourth quarter, and, you know, these are elementary school kids. A 12-point deficit in the fourth quarter is equivalent in high school to maybe like a 25-point deficit or something. Like, it's hard to put together a long run like that when you're down late in the fourth quarter of elementary basketball. And, you know, these kids did, you know, they hit 9 out of 10 free throws in the fourth quarter, stole the ball, pressured, you know, full court press, and they ended up winning by one. It was wild.
Wow. You don't see basketball played at that level. Played like that at that level.
Yeah, it was outstanding, and I talked with Coach Ivy after the game. One of the first things I asked him was, "Do you guys work on free throws?" And he said, "Yeah, we work on them a lot." And just that's another thing I was struck with was, you know, at the elementary level, to see, you know, 9 out of 10 free throws in the fourth quarter. That's just outstanding.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Skylar Boshiers joined the 1,000 Point Club. I believe it was last week. She's only a junior. They beat Carnes last night by a score of 65-10. Of course, Carnes, I'm sure, is in a rebuilding year. They didn't look like they had a whole lot of talent, but the varsity only played about a game and a half. This young lady has got the rest of the season, and then next season she could have 1,500 points by the time it's over. And I don't know the scoring record up there at the high school, but she's certainly going to have a good time as far as getting there.
Yeah, but this is one of those times where, we wish we had that kind of definitive basketball record book already done. But at the same time, the thing with Skylar is, she's still so young. She's still just a junior, and it's early in the season too. It's almost halfway, but not quite, and they still have a lot of basketball to play. And on top of that, you're seeing this year Skylar scoring more, taking more of the kind of offensive load on herself. She scored 30 against Cleveland. I think the night that she broke 1,000 against Hall, she scored 23. She's had a few 20-point games. The thing that gets Skylar when it comes to individual accomplishments like point totals is the fact that the district 3 AAA with the girls is really a case of the haves and the have-nots. You have the haves, Oak Ridge, Campbell County, Powell, and then you have the back half of the district, which struggles a little more, like Anderson County and Clinton and Central and Karnes. And so you end up with those games like Campbell County versus Karnes last night, where Skylar's only playing a quarter and a half or something, and she ends up not getting as many point totals as maybe if, Coach Honeycutt would just, if Coach Honeycutt said, forget about sportsmanship or something like that, we're just going to let the starters, run up their stats and everything, and let's press all day. But who knows, like, Skylar could end up with 50 against Karnes or something like that. But that's, that's not how the game should be played and everything. And we need to get the younger players in and show some sportsmanship. So, that's the thing that hurt Skylar's point total. Otherwise, she'd easily have 2,000 in her career if she was playing. If she had to play district games all the way through, because you look at last year, and there was a lot of games like that too, like last night where Campbell County had it in the bag early, and they didn't need to play their starters. But I was struck by something Josh Parker. I was listening. I was going back and watching some of it. I was at the county tournament last night. I was struck by something that Coach Honeycutt said to Josh Parker on LAF. He was talking about, the fact that she does so many things that aren't just points. She's led the team in assists, in steals. She's a rebounder. She's playing that point guard position a lot of times, and she's having to come, bring the ball to their side of the court and run the offense and everything, get things going. Skylar's such a dynamic player. There's a reason why people talk about her so much, and she brings so much to the table, and, the sky's the limit with her.
Yeah, I agree. I want to shift gears here for just a second. Now, I said something early in the show when we first came on. I just kind of want to run this by you. The boys lost last night to Karnes by a score of 77-53. At the end of the first quarter, it was 14-9 Karnes. And Campbell County had a lot of turnovers early in the game, which I think if they could have minimized the turnovers, they possibly could have been winning in the first quarter. And it just seems like it snowballed throughout the game. Is there something missing with that boys team, or am I missing something here?
Well, it seems they put that together in that win against Halls. But it certainly seems like, Anderson County and Clinton, those were some of the big games that the boys could pick up. I was at the game at Powell last Friday, and I saw a lot of turnovers that were very uncharacteristic of the Campbell County boys team, kind of, balls thrown in the stands and, kind of a little haphazard turnovers. And, from what I saw last night, Dan Karnes was very aggressive, exceptionally aggressive. So it's kind of hard to, maintain that possession against them. The thing with the Cougar boys is that just hitting that consistency. I know one thing, and it's hard to know without being in the locker room, not in and not out like those players are and the coaches. But I do know that Coach Housley has talked a lot in our post-game interviews this year about team ball and forgetting about self and focusing on team. And I mean that could be something like making sure the possessions, have a few passes, get the open look versus taking the ball down and shooting the first shot you see. And I think a lot of these players too. It's not so much a selfish thing.
Yeah.
It's more of a thing where my team's down and I need to do something Herculean. I need to do something Superman-like. Which you want those players to have that confidence, but at the same time, sometimes it's better to play kind of tone it down a little bit. Don't worry about making that impossible shot or making that incredible pass, and just kind of focus on playing the game plan that the coaches drew up and sticking the course and seeing how things go. But they're clearly, anybody can see that the turnovers and the ball control is kind of the key to turning around the way district play is going right now. Is just cutting down on those turnovers will help a lot.
Yeah. I seen Evan Jackson was off a little last night. The first quarter, I think he shot about 3 threes, maybe 4. He was all over the rim, but just couldn't. It just wasn't falling. And you brought up a great point. It did look like that we had some individuals that was trying to put the team on their back and bring them back, when I think if they just stick to fundamental team basketball and just be patient, I think that would probably help a little bit better. Of course, I'm not the coach, and don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing Coach Housley or the team. I'm not. But for a long time, it's been one of those games to where when you're down, you look at somebody else to get the team back in the game. But
yeah, I know Josh said to you last night, he was talking about how playing against Carnes, the key for Kimball County was really playing a slow, kind of methodical pace, and that's kind of the opposite. Like Kimball County is usually a more up-tempo team. And it's easy too when you get down and you're a teenager and you're playing sports. You're like, well, the way to overcome this is to speed things up and to do something incredible. But when you're playing a team I guess as athletic and gifted and speedy as Carnes, you're kind of, when you do that, you're kind of playing into their wheelhouse. You're kind of like, oh, now we're playing a fast game. Carnes likes fast games. This is what we excel at. And so, that's another thing too. The team has so much talent though. Lost in the game last night was Porter scored 23 points or something like that.
yeah.
The thing with Evan, I talked with him before the season. He was talking about driving to the basket more, and if he can drive to I've seen him do that more this season. And if he can drive to the basket and find those open looks, that'd be great. But the thing with Evan too is that I've heard opposing coaches on the sidelines. They're saying, "Look at who the shooter is, shooter," and they're pointing toward Evan. So teams are keying in on. We don't want Evan to have those open looks, and we're going to make it hard for, Evan to have those open looks. And so it's just a matter of adjustment there, and not so much, Evan having an off game or anything like that, but just adjustment. And Coach Housley said this too. It's like he wants Evan to keep shooting and kind of shoot your way out of it and things like that. Because when you lose confidence in your shot is when you just can't play.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. The only way to get out of the funk is just keep shooting the ball. We're up against a break, so let me ask you a quick question. What's going on in the sports world as far as, give us a quick rundown as far as what the folks can see in the La Follette Press tomorrow when they pick it up?
Well, we'll have a rundown of the first 2 days of action in the county tournament. also have a look at, how the how all the high school teams did this past week. And, we'll have a look at, Jericho High School as well as Kimball County. We'll have kind of a preview of the SPCW, the wrestling event happening in La Follette on Saturday night. And just a lot of other things. It's a packed, a lot of nice photos. We're talking about Evan driving. There's a nice photo of Evan driving to the basket and kind of in midair there in that game against Powell. So, nice photos throughout. A big 12-page sports section that people have gotten used to around here. And tons of stuff. Check it out.
All right, great deal, buddy. I appreciate you calling, and thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, see you, buddy. That was the sports editor of La Follette Press, Robbie O'Daniel. As always, I hated to cut him short, but we're up against a break.
Yeah, he could go for an hour easy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. and we've had him in studio a time, and we've had him on the phone line quite a few times. We're going to have to try to get him. Of course, he don't live in the area, so it's kind of hard for him to be in studio. But
it's a great resource, though, when he calls in. A lot of information.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Folks, we're up against a break. You're listening to Just Sports.
WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joe Horton out the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see it.
First dates, fun with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands. Because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome back to the Just Sports. On with my co-host, Mr. Brent Allen. And we've had Skylar Boshiers from the Lady Cougars call in, also the sports editor of La Follette Press. In about 5 minutes, we're going to have Brian Akins of WNML, the producer of the John and Jimmy Show of Sports Talk Radio in Knoxville, call in. In about 5 minutes, we're going to be talking about UT football, UT basketball, the coaches. And while we've got a minute, let me mention this for Matt Mullins. On December 16th, that's this Saturday, at 7 o'clock, bell time is 7 o'clock, adults is $8, ages 6 to 12, $5. And I'm assuming anything under 6 or under 5 and under is free, I can only imagine. But he's going to have Ricky Morton, half of the Rock and Roll Express, there at the SPCW Sportatorium on 157 Myers Lane in Follette, Tennessee. So it's going to be the last show of the year, so y'all
check it out.
Go out there and see Mr. Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton himself.
That's it.
He's also in the WWE Hall of Fame, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he sure is.
Been around.
Yeah, he's been around He's been around. I remember watching him years ago. Of course, I had the great opportunity to wrestle him one time.
Really?
Yes, back some years ago.
Yeah,
and
just a couple of years, huh?
Yeah, just a couple of years. I don't say too many of them. All right, here we go. Tyson Helton is a quarterback and the offensive coordinator for University of Tennessee.
Right.
Now, as everybody's been listening, and hearing sports radio in Knoxville and all the other sports page, Saturday Down South, 247 Vols, and all that thing, we lost a quarterback by the name of Adrian Martinez. He went from Tennessee to Nebraska. And of course, Michael Penix from Florida, the 3-star, said he decommitted, but actually the truth is the coaching staff said they did not want to go that direction.
Right, and the way to look at it, though, is the bottom line is we had 2 quarterbacks on the hook, and as of today, we have 0.
We got 0.
And, yeah, I agree, the Penix, is that his name?
Yeah, Penix.
Penix, he,
Penix, I guess that's
yeah,
what
he
it
was
said.
he was not a highly touted quarterback, but he would have been a solid backup, or who knows, he possibly could have progressed into something. He had a lot of physical attributes that are good,
Yeah.
but certainly he was not. He didn't decide to change his mind. He was 100% Big Orange as of yesterday, and today he decommitted. So we know that happened for a reason. The coaches are doing it. My biggest concern is, do they know what they're doing? I like to think that Coach Fulmer, you know, has, and he's shown enough trust in Coach Pruitt to put him in that position. So he must know what he's doing. But I have to admit, it's a little nerve-wracking. I mean, when you start seeing some of these guys leaving, I know for a fact that a couple of them are the same way. It's more like, hey, listen, you know, you might want to look elsewhere. We're looking for, and I think what it boils down to is Tennessee's looking for bigger, stronger, faster players. I mean, just it comes down to, and he said that in his first interview, that's what they're about. That's what they're looking for. So that's why we're moving on to the 4- and 5-star guys and basically dropping some of the 3-stars, which could turn out to be a mistake. And we'll see after this first early signing period, you know, what's left. I mean, I think we went from 27 commitments to 11.
Yeah.
And as of today, you got 2 more drops. Of course, we picked one up with Alontae Taylor coming back.
Wow.
That's a big get, and they did talk to Cade Mays today, and I'm curious to find out how that went.
Yeah, I am too. Mr. Brian Akins from WNML. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, we was just sitting here talking prior to you calling in about a lot of the recruits that we've lost. And Brent, my co-host here, has some concern, and I would be lying if I said that I probably didn't have a little bit of concern as well. But it seems like Jeremy Pruitt and his coaching staff has certainly got their mind made up on the type of athlete that they're looking for. What do you say as far as going on, as what your opinion is on these?
Well, like Gary Pruitt said in his press conference, he's looking for more, you know, the pro-style, rounded pound type offense, and he's wanting to get back to the whole, seems like the Phil Fulmer style of play in the SEC grounded pound, and it looks like he's looking for more pro-style quarterback. And Adrian Martinez, he's kind of a dual threat, but he's a really good pro-style quarterback. But I think when you look at the situation he was in, where 15 minutes after the UCF conference championship win against Memphis in the American Conference Championship, he gets a call from Scott Frost saying, hey, we want you to be the quarterback in Nebraska. I think that won him over right there. So that was a situation where Tennessee at that point still had no head coach. He didn't know who was going to be the coach of Tennessee, where he was currently committed, and I think that really swayed him. So I think Tennessee lost him right there. And in the situation with Michael Penix Jr., we got the tweet from him today saying that he was decommitted and that he felt like Tennessee did not want him anymore. I think it's a situation that's kind of still developing on what's going on there. Now, he is a 4-star out of Florida who is a dual threat quarterback. Foley, he can run. He's got a great arm. But in my opinion, I think Pruitt's looking for the pro-style quarterback right now. Adrian Martinez, obviously, he was won over by Scott Frost, but Michael Penix Jr. did not fit that mold.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the coaching staff that Coach Pruitt has put together. You know, and I know, T. Martin is a co-offensive coordinator at USC because Tyson Helton was also the co-offensive coordinator at USC as well.
Right.
And USC runs a pro-style offense. So I don't see Tennessee picking up a dual-threat quarterback and burning a scholarship when they can go after a quarterback that they actually need. Now, I personally like the USC offense. I always have, because it's been a pro-style offense, much like what Alabama operates in Alabama. So with that being said, I'm a little concerned, but at the same time, I'm eager to see if they can pick up another quarterback in the coming days.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm eager to see who they offer. If there's going to be any other quarterbacks that potentially get offers. I'm like you, though. I do like the pro-style quarterback. And who knows? I mean, you still have Clinton Dormady sitting back there in the locker room right now, who's a pro-style quarterback. Jeremy Pruitt, we don't know what's going through his mind. He may be interested in seeing what he can do with Dormady and see if he can run that offense. I don't know. Garrett Garantano, he is he's got the rocket arm, but he can obviously run. But he loves to run the pro-style offense. He would much rather throw the ball than run it. But, USC, they have Sam Darnold running that offense. And Sam Darnold's going to be more than likely a first-round draft pick. And I think it's based on the quarterback who's running your system right now. I don't know who that's going to be, or who we have currently on the roster with JG and Dormady, if they're going to be successful running that offense. Like you said, Tyson Help was the OC at USC, and he loves the pro style, so he's going to try to implement that and get away from that spread. So there may be a lot of these players on the team that's going to be learning a new system completely that's never ran a pro style offense, even in high school.
Yeah, and of course we got a good recruit. Brent said earlier, Alontae Taylor, he committed back to the University of Tennessee, and he's sending out tweets trying to build up some other recruits to talk them into coming here. But I don't know. I think Coach Pruitt's a good hire. I think he's got a great superstar staff, and will have, but you still have some naysayers that are kind of concerned about which direction the balls are going to be going in the next couple of years.
That's a legitimate concern, and no one knows which direction Tennessee's going. I will be the first to say I don't think Tennessee wins a lot of games next year. I think if Tennessee's lucky, they'll go 7-5. You have a gauntlet of a schedule in the month of September and October that is something that nobody wants to play. And you have a new head coach and you're transitioning into a new system altogether. And not to mention, you look at the offensive change, the offensive scheme between going from Coach Jones' spread offense to this pro style that's not been run since Philip Rivers was there. And then you also look at the change that's going to be on defense. Does Jeremy Pruitt change to that 3-4, which is something that most of the defensive coordinators of Tennessee's have between Jancic and Bob Shoop, is mostly a 4-3 defense. So, and there's going to be a lot of changes on the hill, and I'm like you and a lot of these people that are concerned. There's legitimate concerns there to what direction Tennessee's going in. Is it going to be a successful hire, considering he's never been a head coach? Nobody knows that until we get 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
Well, there's an upside. I mean, you have to look at the fact that after last year being basically statistically the worst season in Tennessee history and losing to every SEC opponent, a couple of wins in the SEC, hey, we're moving in the right direction. Got to look at the bright side.
That's true. That's definitely true. I know Tennessee, they take on a schedule that is not something that I don't think Alabama would want to take a schedule on, where they face Florida, Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia in a row.
Wow.
Just back. And that's something that you just do not want. But, one thing we will learn in that process between now and taking on that schedule next season is how tough this team is. Are they physically in shape? Who's going to be the new strength and conditioning coach that gets them gets them ready to play? So, who knows what happens between now and then, but I will say I'm definitely excited and looking forward to seeing what he's capable of doing. I definitely like the hire. I like his intensity in his press conference. My favorite quote from the entire press conference was that he said, "You all didn't draft me. I chose to be here." So yeah. I think he's definitely got the intensity and excitement in being Tennessee's head coach.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, and that is something that stood out to me as well. But Rock Gullickson is no longer the strength and conditioning coach, and he was a highly He was a highly touted strength and conditioning coach, but he's no longer going to be with the University of Tennessee. What are you guys hearing in Knoxville? Who's going to be the next strength coach, or do you all have any idea?
There's been talk that the strength and conditioning coach from Alabama is being contacted by Daniel Pruitt. I'm not 100% on his name off the top of my head, but there's been talk of that potentially. Other than that, I've not heard a lot from who the strength and conditioning coach would be. So right now it's kind of up in the air with whether he lands that from Alabama or he ends up going another direction. But I definitely think that it was a good decision to go ahead and part ways with Rock Gullickson. I know, like you said, he was highly touted, great at San Diego Chargers in the NFL when he was there. But I mean, just the team was not in good shape this year at all. I mean, and then you add that to the injuries. Now you can't obviously say that the injuries were on Rock, but the lack of conditioning and strength was definitely on his. Was definitely from him. So, but I don't know who they're going to be going with unless they end up going with the guy from Alabama.
I've got a theory on the injuries and such. You know, Rob Gullickson came in, as you said, is highly touted. I mean, so is the next guy. You know, we're going to get another guy who's had a lot of success, most likely. I mean, and if you don't have success, you won't have a job. So this is how these guys get to where they are. But the issue I have is it the strength and conditioning, or is it the style of play? Is it the lack of aggressiveness? I mean, when you've got linemen firing off the ball, and this is how I have always taught my kids: be the hammer, not the nail. You know, you initiate contact, you initiate the pain, you bring the pain, and it seems like we've gone to this finesse style of football to where it's almost as if we're taking a beating on every single play, and to me that's more of a possibility for a reason for all these injuries, more than just you know they're doing the same stuff as every other major college in the country. I mean, surely we're not that Rock Gullickson couldn't be so far behind somehow that we're doing things differently. So I think it has something to do with the style of play and the mindset.
Yeah, I definitely can agree to that statement. I mean, like you said, the spread offense, it's not a high contact offense. It's more spread the field, get open places in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for the offensive line, you don't see that power run anymore. You don't see that initiating contact. It's more weight on the contact.
Right.
So it's definitely, and you know, we saw the injuries to the line the line was decimated this year.
Exactly.
And we went from around 14 scholarship starters of players that were healthy to play the beginning season to having a total of, I think it was, stat was thrown around 4 that were actually healthy, that were on scholarship at the end of the season. So you pretty much lose 10 offensive linemen that were on scholarship to injury throughout the season. And then you had Denzel Woolware, who ended up transferring because of lack of playing time. He would have definitely got that playing time later in the season if he stuck around. But I agree. I think it simply could be the play style. It could be how they practice. I don't know how hard they go in practice. If they're constantly beating each other down in practice, you can blame the practice style on that as well. But it's just a question. No one really knows the answer to the injuries. But like I said, there's no way Rock Gullickson was that far behind the curve in college. He had to be doing pretty much everything that everyone else was doing. So that's definitely a good question, and it's something that no one really knows an answer to. And we're just hoping that injury bug goes away for the next few years, because it's been biting Tennessee in the butt past 2 years big time.
Yeah, that's true. And as you all were talking, I was sitting here thinking about USC and Alabama and the teams that run the pro-style offense that fire off the ball and really hammer the defensive linemen and the linebackers on the second level. And you don't hear a lot about Alabama or USC having a lot of linemen out due to injury. Do you?
Well, that's actually what I was getting at. I probably didn't preface it properly, but most of our injuries on the line, that's where I think they were coming from, was lack of technique and lack of firing off and being the hammer and so forth. If you look at the other injuries, Juwan Jennings' wrist, that's not a strength and conditioning issue. That's a bone issue, Quentin Dormany's shoulder. I mean, these things happen. It's football. You're going to have that. But the fact that our line has been hammered for the past couple of years, 2 or 3 years, with so many knee injuries and ankle injuries, to me, that comes down to me, that's why it's more important to have that style of play. It's actually safer for the lineman than it is to stand there and wait to be crushed every play.
Yeah, see, I agree with that, because when you play that pro style where you're running the ball and you're running downfield, you're lower to the ground in your center of gravity. So you're firing off into these defensive linemen, but you're at a level parallel to the ground, you're lower to the ground, and you're using your body in its natural form. When you're sitting in these spread offenses and you're using these screen passes where you're waiting on contact, you're constantly passing the ball and things like that, you're waiting to get hit, puts your body in a weird situation, in a weird position, which it would make sense with all these knee and ankle injuries, because you're sitting back waiting, and it's not only your pace. You look at these guys, there's 300-pound men on the offensive line, and then you have these 300-pound defensive linemen coming at you, putting all their weight on you, and that would make sense why that knee and ankle injury situation keeps going on, because they're just letting them hit them so hard, and all that weight and goes on to the knee, and your body can't handle it.
Yeah, it's almost like we're the punching bag.
Yeah.
You hold them off just enough time for me to get rid of this football, so to get it to a scat back or a fast wide receiver or something like that. I was never impressed with that style of offense for University of Tennessee. I always thought that it was going in the wrong direction, because for years we've been used to Johnny Majors, Philip Fulmer running the pro style offense. And as far as the defense, I know one thing that and I hate to shift gears on you here, but the defense, Bob Shoop said in his press conference when he was hired by Tennessee that he was going to be an aggressive style defense, which he never was, ever.
Yeah, he ran a defense where he didn't show a lot of pressure. There was more of a 4 men in the box and on the defensive line, or 7-man box, 4 men in the defensive line, and 3 linebackers, and then just rush for everybody. You never rushed, you never really blitzed, you never really ran any kind of trickery. But if you also look at the lack of production, though, from the defensive front, I mean, the most productive defensive lineman we've had the past couple of years has been Kendall Vickers, and of course you have Dad Barnett, but he's a one-in-a-lifetime player. But that lack of production, if you can't get pressure with 4, but you're still not blitzing, that's why you were so bad on defense. I mean, if you're able, and I know this is not the same level, but if you look at the Patriots versus the Dolphins on Monday night, the defense for the Dolphins was able to get so much pressure with just 4 men on the 4-down men. It opened up that defense. And they didn't have to send pressure like crazy. If Tennessee could get to a level where they could get pressure with 4-down men and not have to blitz, they would have such a great defense. And with Shoot, he couldn't get the pressure, but he still didn't really blitz that much. And so it didn't help him anyways. And then, of course, the injuries, when you lose several of your best players on defense to injuries, that doesn't help either. But, yeah, I was really unimpressed with Bob. I'm actually kind of surprised he picked up another job so fast.
Yeah. I look for a different defense coming up for Jeremy Pruitt and the Tennessee Volunteers. Of course, I'm an offensive guy. Brent is probably more on the defensive minded, but he wants to score 100 points, and he don't care if he scores 99 of them on defense.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, Kevin Shearer, which is a defensive coordinator, if my memory serves me correctly, I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I think this is going to be his first defensive coordinator position is here at the University of Tennessee. He used to be the outside linebackers coach, for Georgia. And will this be his first defensive coordinator position?
I think personally it's a great hire. Kevin Shear, you see how the Georgia defense and their linebackers have been this season. They've been watch out on Super Bowl, but they have one of the best defenses in the country. And I think their linebacker core and their defensive front is part of that reason. So I think Kevin Shear's definitely a great hire. It is his first defensive coordinator. I think it's going to work out for him. I will throw this thing like it is going to be safe. I think it's going to be a great impact. That's Tracy Rocker. Tracy Rocker, obviously. A lot of Tennessee fans know him. He has like defensive line at Austin, defensive line at Auburn has Mayor Sand, and he's defensive line. What the announcements come out. That defensive front for Auburn has been a brick wall. Nobody's running off the pass rush. That's what Tracy Rocker has really coached those boys up how to be super aggressive, super smart, how to keep the ball as quick as possible. And I think having somebody like that super aggressive mindset, I would have loved to see him coach Barnett, coach he's so much on his own, but somebody like that with some talent, I think it's great to have. It's going to be a great spot for the line once it's announced.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Stan, are you walking around? Or are you sitting still? Are you there?
I lost him.
Brian?
I'm sitting still.
Okay. All right. We're going to let you put in a plug here for your podcast, man. Make sure you speak loud and clear. We're having a little bit of issue of hearing you. I don't know the reason why, but it just dropped off here the last little bit. So tell everybody where they can catch the podcast for Mr. Brian.
Well, it's called Producing the Back Podcast. One of my co-workers, Gary Payne, is the teacher as well. That's about. We took the same name, just one. You find it on SoundCloud.com by the name Producing the Back Podcast. It's also a Twitter board called ES Podcast. We do a podcast every week. And we talk about what we're talking about right now. We go out coaching search, had a lot of coaching search calls. We do college basketball. We're going to have a big college basketball tomorrow to keep ready for North Carolina like that. We do a fantasy segment where we give our starters. We also do a focus segment as well. So we love that podcast. We have a blast with it. So I appreciate that. So a little fun.
No problem.
A lot of fun. I ask you a quick question, Chris?
Sure.
What is your stance on Jeremy Pruitt in college football?
What is my stance on Jeremy Pruitt as a head coach?
First, on him coaching in the college football playoff.
Oh, Coach.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I mean, as long as he's here at Tennessee doing what he's supposed to be doing until the dead period, and then he goes back to Alabama and coaches that team. I liked what he said in his press conference. He said, I'm obligated. He is dedicated.
Right. I sat across from those kids and told them I'd coach them when I want to finish it. I like the loyalty, and I would hope that he would have that same loyalty to the Tennessee players.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I was wondering, but there's so many that on it. I had to say that my thing is, you get first the crowd, and you do the same thing for us, and vice versa. You can always know if he was at the press, not the real stuff. So, I think it's good to put those players put their hands out. They're supposed to be great for you. If you just see that something much in a playoff game that you should have to do.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Well, buddy, we certainly appreciate you calling in. We're up against the top of the hour, brother. As always, thank you, and I'll be in contact with you again, okay?
That sounds good. It's always fun.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You too. I've gone Just Sports, you on the air.
They can recruit all the coaches they want to, but if they can't recruit some players that wants to that's interested in playing for Tennessee, all the coaching in the world ain't gonna help if they've not got players there to coach.
I agree, 100%.
They're working on it. They're doing some pretty good stuff on the recruiting trail there.
Yeah.
Well, if they listen to Fulmer, he'll steer them right, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And of course, Coach Fulmer said the other day that he's already took his recruiting test, he's passed it, and he's out on the recruiting trail.
Yeah. Yeah, he's helping out. Plus,
If they can recruit some players, they won't have to recruit as many coaches.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know, real quick, what
Sure.
you saw is that I've forgotten the guy's name already that we got from LSU, the general
Austin
manager.
Thomas.
That's a huge pickup. And as we were talking to Brian about the defense coordinator, I think it's a good hire, and I'll tell you why. That even though he's never been a defensive coordinator, Jeremy Pruitt is currently, you know, a defensive coordinator for one of the best defenses in the country. So he's got that to fall back on. It's a safety net. They don't have to worry about that particular part. He can guide him and groom him along the way.
I agree 100%. I love the, so far, we'll run this down real quick. Tyson Helton is the offensive coordinator. Kevin Shearer is the defensive coordinator. Robert Gillespie, running back. Offensive line is Will Friend. Defensive line is Chris Rump. Defensive line, Tracy Rocker, which he's from Georgia as well. Defensive back is Terry Fair, and he's from Colorado State. Of course, he played at the University of Tennessee. Quality control, they've got a question mark beside Chris Winkie. They're not for sure if he's going to be able to come over to the University of Tennessee. And to me, I don't think it's going to be a big loss because
Yeah.
he's coaching in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine either way. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he would be good. It's nice to have a Heisman Trophy winner on the staff, you know, but I don't think it's that big of a deal either way.
I agree 100%. Folks, we're up against the top of the hour, just a little over. So we certainly appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Thank you, everybody that's called into the show. Also, Mr. Brian Akins of WNML Sports Radio in Knoxville. Robbie O'Daniel, the sports editor of the Lothala Press, as well as the junior guard from the Lady Cougars, Skylar Boshears. And for our executive producer, Miss Honeybee, my name is Les Martin,
I'm Brent Allen. God bless and go Cougars.
WLF Sports Network.
Up, Cougar fans, we're